Hello everyone, friends and family and fellow gamers. This is just another Lonely Gamer with a long overdue Star Wars video. I have been working very hard on this account, the main account I used under the name Logan Slade, for a very long time. Before I made another video, as you can see here, this is one of my characters that I acquired through Fleet Arena. His name is Wedge Antilles. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll remember him from the original Episode 4, A New Hope. He was the leader of Red Squadron. He led the attack on the Death Star. Well, the first Death Star. I mean, how many Death Stars do they even have? Jeez. Anyway, he is a minor character in the Star Wars universe, but they made him in the game, and he is very powerful in this game, and I'm going to show him off in Galactic War in just a second. After a while, I got tired of playing as the Sith, the dark side of the Force, and I wasn't winning anymore, and I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to try Wedge out. And he costs 80 shards to unlock. You can get him very easily in the Fleet Arena store. He's also on a Cantina stage. So if you wait patiently enough for a double drop event, like the one they just had recently, you can really stock up on Wedge shards. As you can see, I have him up to 7 stars. He's maxed out. There's also a Wedge Antilles X-Wing. You can see that in the corner, the bottom right-hand corner. I also have that, and I just really got sold on the Rebels once I had Wedge. And as you can see here, his leader skill is maxed out. Let's take a look at that for a second. Rebel allies have 30% offense, recover 15% of their max health and 10% turn meter on a critical hit, and recover 25% of their max health, whenever they defeat an enemy. So what that means is you don't need a healer necessarily when you have a Rebel team and you have Wedge in the leader slot. If you have guys like, say, Farm Boy Luke, that you get right off the bat, a starter character, or Princess Leia, she's also good. Biggs is also pretty decent in there. I have a 7-star Biggs I use with Wedge. If you have any of those guys on a Rebel team, Rebel squad, they will be constantly healing themselves whenever they score critical hits or defeat an enemy. So you don't necessarily need a specific healer, although if you did want one, I'd say Mon Mothma would be good. But I don't really need her at this point. So the other thing I want to point out was, after all this time, having this account for years and playing before the Hyperdrive bundle, I finally maxed out a skill to level 8. Took me long enough. Got to use some Omega materials I've been holding on to for so long. So as you can see, it's maxed out. I used 5 Omegas on that. And just working on him for a long time. Let's take a look at the other guys on the roster. The other Rebel team members are Biggs. As you can see, he's getting there. Ever so slowly. He's about to do his basic to level 8 right there. And he's close. He's close. He has a crit chance mod that really ups his crit chance on his basics, on his special skill. I'll show that off in a minute. Luke is also on the Rebel team that I built. As you can see, he's almost to 7 stars. Not too shabby. He can also be a good leader because his leader skill, A New Hope, grants everyone a lot of tenacity. So I was using him for a while before I actually realized that, as you saw in the early videos, I was mixing characters, and I'm like, no, wait a minute, this doesn't really work, does it? So once I had the Rebel team, I realized you really need a synergy between the factions in order to really make a team work. You just can't mix characters together. So as much fun as it may be, and as much appeal as it may have to people like me, it just doesn't work in the long run. Here's a character I really enjoyed that's on the Rebel team. He's a little weak, but he hangs in there pretty good. I'll show you why in a second. This is 3PO and Chewie. This is one of the last characters the old regime at Capital Games came out with before the management change, or so I heard there was a management change, and they started adding new characters from The Mandalorian and all that stuff. As you can see, this is 3PO in the back. He's all in pieces. Pretty funny. This is the way 3PO and Chewie were acting in The Empire Strikes Back. That was episode 5 for those of you who actually keep track of that shit. Sorry, I should have swore. I just get fed up with people who actually go by the episode numbers. The one thing I have to tell you is really cool about him is this: I must tell the others, which is what 3PO says all the time. If the allied leader is a rebel, 3PO and Chewie gain 40% of the leader's max health, max protection, offense, defense, and potency at the start of the first encounter, which is the start of the battle, and rebel allies gain half that amount. Rebel allies have plus 15% critical avoidance. Again, this is also in addition to that. Whenever another rebel ally uses an ability, any ability, 3PO and Chewie are called to assist, dealing 30% less damage limit once per turn. And, again, there's something else to this. This is like crazy. This guy's crazy. While enemies are blinded, they have minus 50% tenacity and can't attack out of turn. The blinding skill comes from Shining Distraction, which is this. Dispel all debuffs on 3PO and Chewie. Rebel allies recover 15% protection. Dispel all buffs from all enemies and blind them for 2 turns. And it can't be evaded. Which means it'll pretty much always land. Let's put it that way. It's like a, not attack, but necessarily, but a status effect. So we discussed buffs and debuffs in the one video. Buffs are the green dots above everyone's head, and debuffs are the red ones. Debuffs are bad, buffs are good. So if you ever have a lot of characters, like even a light side team that does buffs, especially the Jedi, 3PO and Chewie will take care of all that. 3PO and Chewie are located on light side 7 hard A node, I think. The first one on light side 7 hard. They're worth getting if you want to build a rebel team. But like I said, I'm talking too much. Oh, and here's the other guy, R2-D2. You have to get him through the legendary event. You'll hear him chattering in a second. There he goes. He's mostly just a support, doesn't have a lot of offensive skills, but he is excellent for a rebel team because of Smokescreen. Target ally gains Foresight for 2 turns, and all other allies gain Stealth for 2 turns. R2-D2 gains 40% turn meter. Now, what that does, and I'll show it off again, I'm talking too much, I know, I'm long-winded, it's in my family. What Smokescreen does is it'll actually, he spits smoke out of one of his crevices, I guess, I don't know, and it cloaks everyone. You have to pick one character to be uncloaked, and that character gains Foresight, and most times they will gain a dodge or an evade or something like that. So even if people attack them, because you're the only exposed character, you can't attack characters who are cloaked or stealthed, they'll dodge everything. Hardly anything will hit them, and the stealth lasts for like 1 or 2 turns. And if you can use that to your advantage, you've pretty much wiped out the enemy. So the Rebel team really does work if you have R2-D2 and 3PO and Chewie, who count as both Rebel and Droid. R2-D2 counts as Droid, and R2-D2 can work with Rebels, Galactic Republic, Resistance, just anybody, because he's been in pretty much every single saga of the Star Wars universe. So, really useful unit if you want to get him through the journey guide. Okay, it's time for me to shut up and start fighting. So, anyway, let's show these guys off. We will start a new galactic war, and we have this team here. Here we go. We're all in here together. There's the team. We will start. Let's see here. That looks like we're on a snowfield. Okay. 3PO, yeah, R2-D2 will use Smokescreen. There we go, I picked Biggs because he has a dodge skill. Here is Wedge's Red Squadron Strike. Check that out. Now, Kylo just stunned Biggs, but that's okay. You hear 3PO chatting. Check that out. Luke will take out Kylo. And we're done. That is how good a Rebel team works. Now, those characters were low level, I admit, but still. The Rebel team will get you very far. Let's do a couple more battles and I can show them off to you. Wedge is also good without the Red Squadron Strike. That's not his only big skill. We'll fight a couple more battles here and I'll show you off. Show these guys off. They are my pride and joy. Once I found Wedge, it was like pretty much everything just fell into place. Every single character fell into place on this team. Really, they did. Wedge is the key. Let's take out Darth Vader first. Notice Wedge did defense down. 3PO did dodge. And Darth Vader's gone. Simple as that. Here's Biggs. Now she dodged that, but everyone else pitched in. As you notice, when Biggs did that, that special of Biggs, if I can say it right, calls in an assist from a random ally. So Luke pitched in. Also, because Wedge and Biggs were in Red Squadron together, Wedge will pitch in. It's called Red Squadron Synergy. And with 3PO and Chewie pitching in, Aoka was gone in seconds, as you saw. So, let's continue. 3PO, I keep messing that up. R2-D2 can burn opponents with Improvise. As you can see, 3PO and Chewie are just totally pitching in as best they can. Plo Koon will stomp. R2-D2 will stun, and they're gone. And Biggs, and 3PO. So simple. This is the synergy I was talking about that I did not have with the other teams because, quite frankly, I didn't know what I was doing. Here we go. One more fight, and then I'll call it quits for the day. Oh, this is Empire. Oh, cool. This works because Wedge's Red Squadron Strike does 50% more damage against Empire enemies or enemies with 50% or more health. Like I said, you really got to read these skills to make sure you use them at the right time, and you make sure you know what they do and that you know what you're doing with them. It's very, very tricky. Luke will take care of Dark Trooper. Dark Trooper is, of course, made of Play-Doh, so he is very easy to take down. That's a joke. He's not made of Play-Doh. It's just my personal opinion of Dark Trooper. Take him out first, and you're done. There's Dooku. Vader will debuff us. That's alright, though. Take out the Emperor. Oh, Vader's going for the big strike. Not too bad. Moff Gideon will use Demoralized on us. That's the lock, his head above our heads. But if we take him out, then Demoralized will no longer affect our offense and defense. See? It's gone. Red Squadron Strike again. Not bad. Let's blind him. That took away all of our debuffs. Okay. Use Luke on Dooku. Now it's time for you, Vader. Again. Easy, easy, and easy. And it seems the game has frozen on me. But that's alright. It'll catch up. But as you can see, the Rebel team really works. Even if a couple of people are stunned, if they're defeated, you still got other Rebels to back them up. See? There you go. I knew it was frozen. Anyway. Anyway, long story short, you've seen the Rebel team. You see how well they work. If you need a team, a light side team that just really kicks butt, and you're struggling with light side, you've got different characters, just go for Rebels. Once you get the Fleet Arena, you unlock Fleet Arena at level 60. Player level 60, just go for Wedge. Oh, fine, whatever. Just go for Wedge. That's the best thing you can do. Go Rebels, go Wedge, get R2-D2. You need Empire units to get R2-D2 through the Journey Guide. Not hard to get Empire units when you get the Emperor. You need Rebels to get the Emperor. Not hard. Again, if you have Wedge, getting the Emperor is super easy. And just overall, the Rebel team, I'm very satisfied with them. I don't know what your thoughts are, but the Rebel team just totally kicks butt for me. I don't know quite what your mileage may be, but with Wedge and Biggs and 3PO and Chewie, I'm very satisfied, and I hardly ever lose a fight, so... And I've cleared it all the way to light side stage 9, so... I would never have done that with anybody else. So, it all works out. Anyway, this is just another Lone the Gamer signing off. Until next time, friends, family, and fellow gamers. Catch you later.